Hi guys, it's Greg Harding. Thanks for tuning in. We're here today just chatting about some different forms of communication that we have with clients. I spoke about this a couple of weeks ago in my vlogs, so if go and check those out. But we are talking more about today about the different forms of communication that you get in, different inquiries, emails, telephone conversations, and maybe just a one-to-one sort of face talking with clients, and how you might alter the way that you speak to clients in order to better convert those clients into giving you work. I've been doing sort of photography for a long time, but running my own business for maybe 10 plus years now. And this is kind of my experience of how I convert my business, and how I learn from talking to clients about how to engage with them, how they might email you and expect sort of one sort of response, how they might talk to you on the phone and how you might respond to those. So it's just really trying to drill down, just trying to maximize your conversations with your clients in order to convert to some work. And that's essentially, that's what it's all about, isn't it? Any sort of client communication, any kind of relationship that we want to build with a client has that sort of end goal of being able to convert and to make it into a job. So so today we're looking at sort of emails, and we will cover in future episodes sort of website contact forms, telephone communication, and face-to-face client communication. But for now, just emails is today's topic. And I don't know about you, but my relationship with emails is pretty intense, because you get so many of them, and quite a lot of them are just phishing emails, and that might be just spoofing emails from banks or PayPal or Apple or whatever, that look like genuine emails but are actually bogus. And you get that with business emails as well. And what I mean by that is that the kind of emails that you get, I break them into two types of emails. Direct emails, which they know you or have been to your website, or they've spoken to a previous client, and they identify you as the person that they want to speak to. Okay, and they've got like a direct email to you. An indirect email is kind of an email where it's a mass email to a lot of other people, and you're kind of just roped into one of these general emails that might have, just hello, we're looking for a photographer to do such and such. And that's kind of, alarm bells ring in my head when I just get a hello, because it means that they don't know me. They don't know what I do particularly. They might, they're looking for a photographer. They've got a project possibly, or they might just be fishing around, looking for numbers, looking for just a quote, and it's not specific. And that's the thing that's the bit that troubles me, is that they might be an intern at an ad agency. They might have been told by one of their sort of team leaders that they've got to go out and get 3 quotes, and within those, within that quote, they'll have just composed a quick email just saying, oh hi, we're looking for a photographer for a day or 2 days or whatever it is in the Northwest or some general area. Send us your rates. And so my head immediately goes into, all right, well, is this a genuine email? So I initially look at the email address it's come from. So you break that into the name of the person and at the company name, plus whatever it is, .co.uk, .com, etc. But if it looks like it's come from, first of all, let's look at the business bit. So it should have a at whatever. Mine's like email at gregharding.co.uk. If it's not a bona fide company name, if it's a Hotmail, a Yahoo, a Gmail, etc., I'm immediately going, well, this is a waste, because they would be, if it's a company that you want to do business with, and if you're a corporate photographer or a commercial photographer, you need to know it's coming from a specific company. So that's the first thing to look at. Then it's their name. Let's have a look. So if it's a bona fide name, then they should have maybe a LinkedIn account. Maybe they'll have a Facebook page. Maybe they'll have they'll come up on Google. And those are the three things that I tend to look at before I start thinking about whether or not I'm going to talk to them. Because if it's not from a company, then it's pretty certain that it's an individual that's looking for, it could be another photographer, it could be another videographer, it could be a graphic artist or whatever, that are just looking for rates and how they might pitch themselves up against you. And I've had that before, and I've called people out on it before, and it's a bit disheartening. I really don't mind another person phoning me up and saying, look, I'm starting out, I'm trying to find my way in business, please, what's your rates, have you got any tips, and I'm like, well, if you call me, that's great, I'm more than happy to talk to you and give you some advice. If you're trying to con me into giving me details, giving you details, then that's quite another thing, and it doesn't start the relationship off very well. So, essentially, do some research, do some homework on the person that is supposedly asking you for a quote, an estimate, etc. So, do that. If it looks bona fide, then great. Respond, and I would. The next thing for me would be to look at whether or not that email comes with a telephone number. And if they've got a telephone number, I'll immediately ring it and say, look, you've given me a kind of an email, I've got it. What sort of work are you after? Because photography is a very general term, and they might be after a photographer for a wedding, and I just I don't do that. They might be after a photographer that needs a particular experience, and I might not feel like it suits what I'm trying to do with the business. You can have this chat with them, just a 5-minute chat on the phone to them, and find out so much more about their project, and more importantly, start the relationship process, because an email is very impersonal. It's not like a handwritten note. That's quite personal. An email is very impersonal. You don't get much emotion from it. You can't gauge what their enthusiasm is from it. You really gotta be able to speak to somebody to hear them in order to be able to gauge whether or not they're A, bona fide, and B, whether they're interested. You get emails from all sorts of places, like ad agencies that are just after general figures, and that's fine. But the ad agency's purpose, or the creative agency's purpose, is to try to match the photographer with their project. So they have a client, their client has a specific need, they're working in a particular sector, and the creative agency will want to match a photographer with that particular skill set with this client. And that's that's their role, so they can go back to their client and go, look, we've done our job really well, we've searched the market, we've got someone that's particular to your sector, they know your products already and they're ready to go, and this is the best value for you. All right. If it's just a general email, just asking for a day rate, they get none of that. They don't know my experience. They don't know what you're capable of. They don't understand where you've worked. Unless they know you previously, and that's something different. But unless they know you unless you're prepared to go that step further, to talk to them, to pick up the phone and find out more about their project, it's always going to be here's my baseline number, work with it. And it gives them nothing to work with. Even if you say to them, look, go and check out my website, go and have a look at my portfolio, this is the sort of work I can do for you. It doesn't show you're willing to go that extra mile. And picking up the phone, talking to them, offering a recce, offering to go in and talk to them and their wider creative team, that shows that you're willing to get involved and to start building that relationship. And it's at that time you can then start to generate or convert a client to working with you. But look for their name, do some research. Look for their company, do some research on that. If they've got a telephone number, pick up the phone and give them a call. Even if they've got all the details outlined in there, you just want to make sure, you just want to clarify, you just want to find out a little bit more than the next person. All right, so there'll be a lot of other competition that just go, all right, well, they've just asked for what they want, and then you just send them a pro forma email and just send it back. If you have that telephone conversation with them, you can then start referencing that conversation back into the email, making it much more personable. You might have the conversation and you suddenly find out that they've been, I don't know, on holiday somewhere, and then you can start referencing that and say, oh, I've got some holiday photos that I took in that same place, have a look at this one. And then getting some form of common ground will put you in a much better stead than just sending back a blank email with a day rate. So that's indirect. That's a way of trying to convert indirect emails. If you have a direct email, now that for me that fills me with a lot of joy, because I know they know of me, they've heard of me, they've been to my website, they know what I'm capable of. They may well have spoken to other people that have worked with me, and they're already forming an opinion as to whether or not they can work with me. And I think if you can capitalize on that, again, a direct email from them will probably have a telephone number. All right, almost certainly have a telephone number, and it's almost certain that they have a live project. Whereas indirect emails, they might not have a project, they might just be fishing around for numbers. They might have a project, but it's not urgent. All right, a direct email means that they've definitely got something they're considering, and they're definitely talking to you, which is a great thing. And you then stand a good chance of being able to marry those two up and go forwards. So again, pick up that phone, find out where your common grounds are, where their specialisms are, where you can help them, where you've done previous work in that area, and be able to send that across to them in that more structured email. And then you may well be able to then say, look, okay, you can break it down on the telephone, these are my rates, but this is why my rates are like this, or what is your client after, what are the particular circumstances, how can I help? And you can already start to offer them little ideas and hints and tips about how they might capitalize, or how they might improve their relationship with their client, because you might have had some dealings in that particular sector and they haven't considered it. So that, being able to help them to help their clients, will put you in a much stronger position in order to convert. So I hope that sort of covered some of the things that you would do in your email communication. I think there's so much more that you can get out of emails, but actually picking up the telephone, it makes a huge difference. We'll go into telephone communication, we'll go into website communication, we'll go into direct one-to-one communication with you guys. But in this first series, this first episode on client communication, just wanted to outline that. So if you feel like you've got, if you do something different and it works for you, let me know, because leave a message in the comments below. I would love to hear that. Try some of the things that I've been mentioning. Let's see how that works for you, and let's just chat about it if you like, and let's see what works. I mean, the idea is to convert as many of these emails as we can into bona fide work, and that's how we get paid. So, all right, I'll leave it there. Have a good week in business, and I'll see you next time. All right, thanks a lot.